Buongiorno, buon pomeriggio, and buonasera, Lazio world. Welcome to our instant reaction pod. A little bit of stoppage time here as we review absolute madness, chaos in Lazio's Champions League fixture against Atletico Madrid, this one in Stadio Olimpico. I'm your host, Shawn McIntosh. I am going solo on this one today, but wow. I mean, we like to describe these matches in 3 words or less, and all I can say is wow, because that one was a match for Laziali to remember for a very long time. Just kind of recapping what we saw, pretty early on. Lazio established themselves as the more dynamic team, the team more eager to control the match with possession. Ended up ending that first half with possession stats of 60% to 40. And Lazio very clearly came out eager, aggressive, and in typical Lazio fashion, very unlucky. We saw Atletico Madrid enter the match and take the relatively early lead in the 29th minute with Pablo Barrios taking a shot a bit outside of the box and deflecting as Provedel was already making his move. It deflects off a Kamada, sees itself in the back of the net, and of course, you've got to be worried, disheartened as a Lazio fan, but also hopeful, knowing that we were the team that was controlling the run of play for a majority of that first half, and hopeful that one of these opportunities would see the back of the net. And we started off the second half no differently. Certainly, Atletico found themselves a little bit more in that match, absolutely cut into our possession advantage. But, you take a look at the statistics. Lazio with 19 shots to Atletico Madrid's 9, 7 of those on target in comparison to the 4 Atletico had. Ended up being a fairly balanced match in possession with, again, Lazio dominating that in the first half. But, I thought when you look at where the match, obviously this one ended in a draw, but when you look at where it was won or lost, in this case, I think Lazio's inability to just make decisive passes in the final third or make decisive decisions in the final third could have doomed them. Ciro Immobile, missing an opportunity that could have leveled this one in about the 56th minute, gifted a ball in the box and could have spelled doom for this team. But again, this team pushed forward, persevered, and was able to, in absolutely stunning fashion, in the 95th minute, off of a Luis Alberto beauty of a cross, which may have even found the back of the net without Ivan Providel's help. You have a Providel just streaking down the middle of the box as if he was a world-class striker, and finishing that as beautifully as I've ever seen a striker smash home a header and sending Stadio Olimpico into absolute fit of chaos and madness and joy, and Provedel just going absolute nuts into the arms of his teammates. And what a sight to see. And ultimately putting the stamp on a match at a 1-1 draw. A very important match, as Champions League fixtures at home. You've got to retain some sort of points. And so certainly disappointed to walk away from this one without all 3, given how well we played. But the way we ended up stamping that match off in stunning fashion in the 95th minute, you can't be anything less than happy with that one. As far as man of the match, hard to give it to anybody other than Provedel, who, aside from the brilliant goal that saved a point for Lazio, mean, he went on to make a number of saves that kept this match alive, particularly thinking about the 71st minute. He comes up with a save that gives us the opportunity to walk away with this one and have points and be put in a position to ultimately level this late in the match and obviously walking away with a goal. Only the second keeper in Champions League history to score outside of penalties, and so makes a little bit of history, puts Lazio in a great position to make some noise in this tournament and hopefully advance out of the group. It's likely going to be the toughest opponent that we have to face, regardless of home or away. This was a result that bodes well for this campaign and this tournament. So hard to give man of the match to anybody other than him, but I wanted to shout out Zaccagni, who I thought played a very strong, a very elite first half, continued to put pressure, was a menace down that left flank, continued to earn fouls as he so often does. I just thought he put Atletico on their heels. And look, Atletico was so compact, so organized, did really, really well on that front. But I thought Zaccagni in particular held it strong down that left side of the match. As far as the bidon, as far as the player for us that maybe failed to live up, it feels good to say that I didn't see any glaring holes from this Lazio side today. I thought we were pretty compact and organized, on a couple counters, you could say, but overall, our defense came up big. It was an absolute shame that Pellegrini had to come off early in the first half with an injury because, he is a Laziale through and through and has had to bide his time waiting for a moment like this and to earn that moment and to play as well as he did. I thought he gave our attack life. I thought he beat his man off the dribble. He found himself in the box. He was making the right passes. I loved what I saw from him today. So let's hope that injury is nothing more than a knock. But it looked kind of nasty, and we saw a big bag of ice, on his knees and legs. So let's hope for the best there. But I thought overall there wasn't any glaring weaknesses from individuals. Again, the final third seems to be a little bit stagnant when we're needing to make decisions. We're a team that for so much of our tenure with the likes of Luis Alberto and Ciro Immobile and when we had Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, it's a team that loves to play on the attack and loves to move quickly with the ball and catch opponents on their heels, and we haven't been in a position to do that. So when Atletico is dropping numbers behind the ball, it's been really difficult for us to break down defenses. And I have to say, of all the players, you can note, I think Felipe Anderson was largely invisible. I don't think he had an opportunity to really put a stamp on this match. I think Marusic was average. I thought overall our center back pairing did quite well, and no massive mistakes from Patrick, which is always a surprise. So I'd have to give it to Ciro Immobile. I thought given the opportunity he had in the 70th minute or 56th minute, I believe, where he had that opportunity to level the match. I mean, that's one for a striker who has been starving for opportunities. And I think by and large, Ciro it's been a disservice to him because he hasn't been receiving the ball in great areas. And, to have that one opportunity, you've got to finish that, and so for me, by not capitalizing on that opportunity, I have to give him the bidone of the match. But by and large, I think we can take away a lot of positives, seeing that the defense was a lot better today, and for Patrick to step up and play so well, and Romagnoli really dictating that back line, and another big match from Provedel. I think we can really hang our hat on that as we look forward to some league matches here with Monza coming up. And again, we did pressure and attack, which was strong against an Atleti side that is so organized. So for me, starting this campaign off with the draw against a strong side like that, we can be very, very happy with that. But we can't think about it for too long because we know we've got matches coming up, and this is when we'll start seeing hopefully some rotation, certainly a surprise right off the bat to see the likes of Pellegrini getting a start, and Vecino, another player that I think deserves an absolute shout out because he was a bright spot. I mean, he was playing in that regista role so well, and was that outlet for our center backs and paired so well with Luis Alberto, who again continues to just play at an elite level. So I think tonight is a night that we can celebrate as Laziali because it was a fun match, run of play. I think we were the better team, and I think to end it in the way that we did with Provedel coming up huge with a save, and then obviously capitalizing with a goal with our goalkeeper. That's always going to make for something special and something we can remember. And we know we've got a run of fixtures coming up that are going to be challenging, and we know we've got points that we have to take against Monza and Torino at home before we get to Milan, and then we're back at Champions League fixtures again against Celtic, and Celtic may be on paper the weaker side of the bunch, but playing at Celtic is always a challenge, and we know what happens when this Lazio team takes anybody for granted. So I think if I'm rating how content I am with this first match out of 10, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. I think again, run of play, I thought we were the more dominant team, and to walk away with the draw in that fashion, very, very happy. Something I think we can all be happy with. So curious to hear your thoughts. This will be a brief one today, and then Caleb will be back after the Monza match immediately after for our instant reactions. But as always, give us a like, give us your thoughts, comment, rate, subscribe, follow this podcast on all social platforms. We are on TikTok now. We are, of course, on Twitter at Lazio World, Instagram, and our audio podcast can be found on Spotify or Apple. So, as always, sempre forza Lazio.